Hey guys, Mike here at Amaze Tutorials. Welcome back. Well guys, today we're going to do another subscriber request as usual. And I received an email asking me to model a Monsters Inc. Scream Canister. So, or at least my interpretation of it. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. All right, what's that? Ooh, hang on. File, new scene, just clean that up. Okay, so we're going to start with a polygon cylinder. We're going to pull that up. And first we're going to set our translate values to 0 to make it sure that it's nice and centered. Okay. Then we're going to go to our subdivisions and we're going to increase that to 50 for a couple of reasons. First of all, we want it to be nice and smooth, and we want to have this edge here line up with our grid line, and that's important for later. Okay. So we're going to hit W, we're going to pull that up, and we're going to hit R and we're going to stretch it out until we roughly have the dimensions of the canister we want. Okay, so now that we've got that, we're going to go up to Mesh Tools, insert Edge Loop Tool, option box, select multiple edges and select 2. We'll select them there. We're going to hit R and we're going to pull them up fairly high up. Okay, and then we're going to go to insert Edge Loop Tool again, 2 more, and pull them up until they are fairly close to each other, which will give us 2 face rows. Okay, we're going to right click at a face, we're going to click and shift double click to get that row, and then shift click and shift double click to get that row. We're going to go to edit mesh, extrude under face, and we're going to pull in that thickness to give us something like this. All right, not bad. Okay, now we need to add 2 more edge loops. So insert edge loop tool again. We're still at 2, so we're going to add them there. And we're going to hit R and we're going to pull that up, but not too high up. That's not bad. Okay. Hit Q on your keyboard. And now it's important that you select the side where this grid line is lined up. So not this one, this one. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to right click, go to face, and we're going to start to select faces left and right of that grid line. Okay, so that should be okay. And with these selected, we're going to go to Edit Mesh, Extrude under Face, and we're going to pull in the thickness to pull these faces in. Okay, so we'll get that. All right. Then we are going to select these faces, hit G to repeat, and pull that in a bit more. And then we'll take these two, G to repeat, and pull that in more. Okay, cool. So we got that. Now, next what we're going to do is we're going to create another polygon cylinder, a bit smaller this time. And then in our attribute editor, we're going to select round cap. Okay, and it's not round, it's pointy, so we're going to increase the caps here to, let's say, 10 to give nice rounded caps. And then in our height, we're going to add quite a few as well. We'll do, let's say, 30. That's fine. Okay. And let's start to move this into the opening that we created. So we're going to hit W. Actually, what we can do is just set our translate values to 0 to have a good starting point. We're going to pull that up. We're going to hit 4 for wireframe mode so we can see what's going on. And let's do that. And then from our top view, again, hit 4 for wireframe mode. We're going to move it over here. And it looks like if we hit F, we need to scale it in just a little. So hit R and scale it back just slightly. Okay. So that will give us that. All right. Now, before we move forward, because we're going to add some stuff, I'm going to add some materials so we can kind of see where we're at. Okay. So I'm going to start with this guy, object mode, right click, assign new material. We'll do a blend, and I'll change the color to yellow, but I kind of guess you expected that if you have seen the movie. Okay. Not quite sure if I want that to be as reflective as it is. So let's change that to a Lambert. That's better. Okay. We're going to select it again. And there we go. And what we're going to do is we are going to go to Window, Rendering Editors, Hypershade. And we're going to middle mouse click and drag and pull this Lambert down. And then we're going to search for Fractal. Select it. Middle mouse click and drag it and release it on top of our yellow Lambert. And then we are going to go down and select bump map. Okay, so now it's connected. You can see that this is a bit rough, so we're going to minimize that. We're going to hit our little checkered ball here, which shows how that's looking like. And as you can see, the bump depth is way, way too much. So we're going to bring that down quite a bit. Let's do 0.03. Let's see. And that's maybe still a bit much. 0.01. Okay, 0.02. That's good. All right. So we got that. Then we're going to go in and we're going to right click on a face and we're going to select this face row that we created. And I'm going to do the same down here. Right click, assign new material. We're going to go with MIA material X. Material tab, presets, and let's do setting to metal and replace. Okay. And then in here, because we're going to have quite some reflection going on here, we are going to select all of these faces like so, and we'll do the interior as well. So we'll take these and the ones up here. Almost done. Right click, assign the material, MIA material, presets, chrome, and replace. There we go. And then we're going to select our tube here. Come on, right click object mode. There we go. Let's see. Our initial tube will be a glass object that is filled with a red fluid, and we're going to have a couple of chrome strips on it. Okay, so right click, assign new material. Where to go? Right there. We'll do the MIA again. We'll do presets, glass solid, replace, and then in our color section, we're going to select the refraction color. If he wants to respond, we're going to hit red, and we're going to make that fairly dark. And just see how that turns out. There we go. And then we're going to go back to our material. We're going to take this color, and we're going to do the same. And I'll do a very quick test render so I can just see how that turned out. So don't mind me doing that. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. Okay, I don't have any lighting going on, but okay, we'll short that, but I think it's okay. All right, so now we're going to create some Chrome sections here. All right, and the best area to do that is here because it will be level. So right click face, we'll do the third face row, so this row right there, and we'll do 1, 2, 3, one there, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 6 in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's about right. Okay. Right click, assign new material. Once again, Maya, presets, Chrome, replace. There we go. So that should be okay. So now we need to create a cover for this, if you will, which will be a little bit tricky, but we'll see how we address this. And I actually wrote down some stuff for this. Okay, so we'll take a polygon cube and we'll pull that up and we'll do subdivisions of, let's see, 5. No, not there. Sorry. Let's see, I think it was 5 in height. That's 5 in depth, and it's 25 in height. There we go. That should be it. Okay. Now let's start to fit that into our opening. So we're going to scale that down until our top is looking okay. We're going to hit W to move that over so it's aligned in the top left corner. Then we're going to hold D on our keyboard so we can move our pivot point to that corner. Okay. And now if we hit R, we can scale that, just looking at where my opening is, right there. And then we can push it down to there. And if I did that correctly, then I should be able to hit W and move that in there. And let's see if that is a good fit. And it is. All right, cool. Okay, so now that we got that, we are going to create an opening. So right-click face, and we're going to take these faces. And we're going to hit delete. So there's our tube again. That looks all right. We're going to right click. Actually, we're going to take out the second row of faces as well, of course, because it's two-sided. So we'll just take them out as well. And we should still have that guy. Yeah, fine. And then we're going to go in and we are going to create some points, if you will. Now, you probably don't know what I mean by points, but I'll show you. We're going to hit F to zoom in. We're going to right click, go to vertex, not on all that stuff. Come on. Right click vertex, that's better. And we'll do this one and this one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We'll do this one and this one. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll take that one and that one. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll take those, okay? And then we're going to hit R, and we're going to pull them in until we're pretty much there. And then we're going to take these two and these two, and we're going to push them in like this. All right. Let's just check and see what we got. Okay, not bad. Now, it's possible that we need to move our tube forward, but that's something we can do in a fairly late stage. So that should be okay. All right. Now, we're going to change the material on this. So assign new material. Let's do the MIA material again. Presets, sateen metal, and replace, and maybe tweak the color on that a little bit. So let's see, we'll do blue, and we'll just bump that up a little, okay? And we'll figure out how that looks when we're done with that, okay? Starting to look okay, I think. All right, now what's next? We are going to create a little frame around this area, if you will. And what I'm thinking here is right-click Object Mode, take this guy, Control D to duplicate, W to pull out. I'm going to check it right here. And what we're going to do first is modify center pivot. And then we're going to start to scale that. Not too much. We'll just pull that down a little. And let's just scale it from here. And you just want to find something that looks good for you, right? Okay. Now we do have a little problem here. As you can see, this thing is completely straight, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to add a bunch of edge loops so we can bend it, all right? So we're going to go to Mesh Tools, insert Edge Loop Tool, option box. We'll do 5, and let's add these. And down here as well. And right there. Okay. Hit Q on your keyboard. Right-click Object Mode, select that guy. We're going to position it from our top view very closely to our object. So we're going to hit W, we're going to move that in until we're about there. And then we're going to go to our Animation tab. We're going to go to Create Deformers, Nonlinear, and Bend, which will create a bend handle. And this is always tricky. Let's see. Okay, that's not the right angle, as you can see, right? So we're just going to hit Control Z. Oops, that's one Control Z too many. Where'd he go? Nonlinear bend. So we're going to hit E. We're going to rotate our bend handle to 90 degrees. Then we're going to check our bend handle again. And that is the right curve that I'm looking for. And then I'm going to go to my top view. And we are going to curve this until it is nicely fitting our object. And I think that is where we are right now, but I'll just check. Pretty close. Just check that once more from my top view, because once we delete the history on that, we're done. So yeah, I think that looks good. Okay, so we're going to select our object, edit, delete by type, history. So that's now clean, if you will. And we can now take the object and, if necessary, just move it in very, very slightly. Okay. So that's what we've got now. What we're going to do there is we are going to change the color. And I'm actually thinking that this guy, assign new material, let's see, we'll do a, actually we'll leave that one. We'll take this one, assign new material, and if you know my videos, then you know that I love Chrome. So presets, Chrome, replace. All right. So that is pretty close to where we need to be. All right. Okay. So one more thing we can do is we're going to add a marking. So we'll do a polygon cube. I'm just going to pull that up, pull that in. You have to zoom in. Okay. We'll just set the translate values to 0. So I can now pull it up. I have to zoom in, R to scale down. W to move down. And what I'm doing here is I'm creating a plus and a minus, okay? So we're going to scale it down some more till we're about there. Hit W, bring that down. And just from our top view, bring it out. And I think it's up here somewhere, but we'll check it from this view. Okay, so that's our minus, and then Control D to duplicate. Bring that down here. Check it from this view. Okay, and we're going to hit Control D to duplicate, E to rotate, and that will be our plus sign at minus 90. And just check to see if that looks okay. Come on. And I don't want anything else selected, and that's good. Okay, so let's just bring that up slightly. Okay, and we'll texture these two. So we'll select them both. Assign new material. Let's do a Fong E. And let's make that black. There we go. Okay. So we got all that. Select the whole thing. Let's do polygon menu, mesh, combine. We'll do edit, delete by type, history, modify, freeze transformations. We're going to create a ground plane for this. And as you can see, we need to move it up a little bit. So we'll take this and bring that up like so. Let's increase the size of our ground plane. Right click, assign new material. Let's do a Fong E and let's make that white. We're going to go to create lights, point light, hit W, pull that up, hit 7 on your keyboard so you can see what your light is doing. Okay, and let's create some additional light. So create Control D, sorry, hit Control D. We'll move on over here and move that down. And then we'll create an ambient light, which is very, very bright, as you can see. We're going to push that back here somewhere, pull it up just slightly, and bring that intensity down to 0.1. Okay. Now, we need to check out this material here to see if it turned out the way I wanted. So I'm going to turn on my resolution gate. Okay, that's about right. We're going to go to View, Bookmark, Edit Bookmark, and we'll call this New. And hit Apply and Close, so we can fall back to that if needed. Okay, so we've got all that. We're going to go to our render settings. And Common tab, I want my image size to be HD 1080. My quality 1.5. Or if you have a previous version of Maya, you can select the production quality. That looks good. Indirect lighting, global illumination, final gathering, and I'm going to set up image-based lighting. All right, just going to go to my folder here, look for an HDRI image, and this one, I use this one quite a lot, simply because I like it. Okay, and I'm quickly going to pause the video. I'm going to hit the render button, and I'll see you guys in a sec. Well, guys, during the render, I saw a couple of things that I want to quickly change, so we'll just do that. So I'm going to select this guy, and what I'm going to do is I wasn't too thrilled with how the yellow turned out, this guy. So what we're going to do is we're going to change that to a Fong E material. Okay, this looks a little bit better. Then this guy, and we'll just go to mesh and separate this guy right here. I want this guy to be black. Okay, so I'm just going to assign a material, Fong E and black, and then I'll take the plus and the minus, assign the material, we'll do a Lambert, and we'll do white. I think that looks a little bit better. Okay, and then this turned out okay, I think, but as far as lighting is concerned, I'm just gonna decrease that light a little bit. Let's do 0.65. Okay, I'm gonna go back to view, bookmark, new, which is our preset there, and we're gonna do another render. So I'll pause the video, see you guys in a sec. Right, guys, well, here's the final render, and this is, like I said, my interpretation of the canister. But if you want to have an exact copy of the original, the modeling techniques are pretty much the same. And, you know, I just like to add some creative freedom. Okay, so that's it. Hopefully this tutorial is helpful for you guys. If you've got any questions, you can ask me in the comment section or check out my Facebook page, MH Tutorials. And that said, thank you guys for watching, and I'd love to see you guys again.